Well, it happened again. I had another seizure. Yes, I did. And what's even more fun is that it was actually one day short, one day of 6 months between that seizure and the previous seizure. So I was almost at a point where I could at least start discussing the possibility of being able to drive again. But I didn't really expect I would just go for it because I have gone months in between seizures most of the time, especially prior to going through the whole lamotrigine debacle. So I was not really going to be like jumping on board and saying, let's get back in that car, but I was kind of looking forward to the idea of being able to say, yes, if I want to, legally I can drive again. But that didn't happen because I was one day short. So this one, my husband did try to record it, but it didn't work. He was in that panic state, so he wasn't able to fully grab everything, but he did manage to capture as I was coming out of the seizure, the postictal phase, and it was interesting for me to watch. I was a little bit concerned. I always take a little bit of time before I even watch it because I need time to settle down myself and calm down and kind of get past the worst of it, because it's very, very traumatizing every time, no matter what. And watching it this time was actually not too bad. It was interesting for me to see, actually, because I did not know my last name. He did ask me my first name and I knew it, and that's good. And I knew who he was, because I know some people, when they have seizures, they actually don't even recognize their own family members for some time after they've had the seizure, because that's what it does to your memory. It just messes everything up so badly. So, but you can hear me in this video kind of saying, okay, I'm trying to think of it. I'm just trying to focus. And then he kept telling me, as you have to do when someone has a seizure, he kept telling me, you had a seizure. It's okay, you had a seizure, and just trying to calm me down. And not that I'm upset, I'm just out of it. I'm actually very chill every time, thankfully, because again, some people, when they have seizures, they get very combative after, and I don't. So I'm thankful for that. And I am also thankful that I had my trusty cloth, which is kind of I found the best ones to use are the sort of the stronger fibers, if you will. Like they're not just really floppy, thin. They've got a little bit of strength to them. And I stuck that in between my teeth, and that did the job. And I did not bite my tongue. So I'm very thankful for that, because I always stick my tongue out to the same direction. So I put it between my teeth, and that stops the tongue from going there. Because when you're unconscious, having a seizure, then your body goes tonic. That's the first part of it, where you go very, very rigid, and your muscles contract and they do weird things. And my tongue always goes off to the side, and at the same time, my jaw clamps down really, really hard. So I bite my tongue really badly, and it is severe. Like, I have quite a bit of scarring on my tongue on that side, because it's just that bad. And it's the kind of bite that you would never, ever, ever be able to do when you're conscious, because you just couldn't. I mean, the kind of damage that's done and the pain that it causes, you could not do when you're conscious. I mean, someone could hold a gun to your head and you would not be able to do that to your own tongue. So, but when you're unconscious and your muscles are doing things you don't want them to do, then it's just going to happen. And then that's what happened. So this is my seizure, and well, at least post-seizure, just a little bit of activity there, and hoping and praying that I don't have another one to share for you guys, because I'm still continuing to work through this, and I have some other videos that I would like to make to discuss where I'm going from here. So right now I am on clobazam, and that is it. Just one dose at night. My epilepsy doctor does want me to like quadruple that, and it's pretty awful enough on its own, and it is a benzodiazepine, so I don't want to be on any more than I have to be, because even weaning off of this much is going to be extremely hard and take a very long time. So I'm trying to hang on and say, yes, I have had some breakthrough seizures, but it has settled them down quite a bit, because I was having a minimum of 2 a month for a while there, and now I'm getting 4 months in between, and then 6 months in between, and hopefully that will just keep getting longer and longer. And as I'm trying to do a lot of other things like keto, paleo, carnivore, really, not even paleo at this point, but I'm kind of moving back towards paleo a little bit, and we'll talk about that in another video. But I'm hoping that doing all of these things will help to improve my system. And there are things that generally my epilepsy doctor cannot help me with, because the only thing that they have as a neurologist is a list of drugs to recommend, and it's a small list, actually. And that's it. There isn't really much that they can do. I don't think I even qualify for the vagus nerve stimulator at this point, because I'm not having them you have to have, I think, at least a minimum of 2 seizures a month to qualify, which I did for a while, but now I'm not. So I don't know. We will see. And I'm not sure if that is something I want, because that's a pretty invasive surgery. But at the same time, if it helped and if it made me more functional and I could just relax, then that would be really great. And, not worry so much that it's going to be a problem. If I could, at least if I have an aura occasionally, then I could stop the tonic-clonic part of it, the grand mal part of it. That would be really great. But we will see anyway. And for any of you, I'm just going to try to get ahead of this in the comments. If you have seen my video and you've seen that I said that I did put a cloth between my teeth, don't bother telling me not to put something in my mouth. Honestly, I would agree. Don't put it in someone else's mouth when they're having a seizure, because you could lose your finger, or you could choke them. There's any number of things you could do to someone else. But I have used this thing 3 times to protect my tongue, and compared to what else I've done to my tongue, that's incredible. And I heal much faster, and even my brain heals faster when my body doesn't have to spend all the time dealing with, that's my cat walking around. That's why everything is moving. Anyway, so when my tongue is already healed and it doesn't have to take the energy from my body to heal, then it can focus on trying to get my brain working, because when you have a seizure, your brain is a mess for quite some time, weeks afterwards. So I am very glad to have I'm distracted now. My cat is playing and jumping around and being very silly, and she's a really old cat, so it's quite adorable when she does that. Anyway, I'll stop focusing on that, and here is my little post-seizure recording for your information.
Okay, that was it November 26th? Just had another seizure. It was about maybe a minute and a half. It was a longer one. Well, the actual seizure was probably maybe 45 seconds, and then she did the that was probably a minute and a half. So she's still out of it right now, and she's fidgeting, but she just started moving around. She choked on her food earlier and was having a hard time getting it going, and then she asked for ice because she was coughing so much, and then she felt funny and had the seizure, and food came out of her mouth, like chewed up food, so I guess regurgitated, or it was caught in her, it was, maybe because she choked, so maybe it came up, I don't know, but some food came out of her mouth chewed up. It's on the rag, so I wiped her mouth a little bit, but I'll wait to clean it up. And other than that, she's just out of it right now. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You're okay, babe.
Yep. Okay.
I'm gonna stop because the flash is too bright, probably.
I'm gonna say the rest.
But what's your last name? You know your last name?
Yeah. Just trying to think.
You know your first name, that's okay.
Did I know my first name? Yes.
Yeah, Janice.
Mm-hmm.
You had a seizure, babe.
Did what?
You had a seizure.
Yeah. What?
You're still out of it, yeah. Okay, she didn't bite her tongue this time, though.